Okay, so today we're going deep on Google Cloud's Dataproc,
Yeah.
and we've got a whole bunch of articles and documentation about it.
Lots to talk about.
Yeah,
It's really fascinating stuff, I think.
it is.
And you know what fascinates me is that Dataproc isn't just for like the tech geniuses out there.
Yeah,
I mean, whether you're like, a hardcore data scientist or just starting out with data,
mm,
this is a service that can help anyone
right.
unlock incredible insights from data, and we're going to break it all down so
Yeah.
anyone can understand it.
Unlock incredible insights. Okay, you
Yeah.
got me. I'm sold.
All right, go.
But let's start with the basics.
Sure.
What is Dataproc?
So um, imagine a library, right?
Okay,
But instead of books, it's all raw data.
right.
Dataproc is like having a team of expert librarians who organize everything,
Mm.
process it, and help you analyze it.
So instead of me like having to learn how to do all this myself, I
Exactly.
could just jump in and start exploring.
Yeah, it's a fully managed service from Google Cloud,
Oh,
which means that you don't have to worry about setting up and maintaining all the infrastructure.
oh wow.
Yeah, you can just focus on using the data.
That's great because I don't want to have to build a data center in my basement.
Exactly. And it works with all of these
Yeah.
powerful open source tools like
Mm.
Apache Hadoop and Spark.
Okay, now those are names I've heard, but I don't fully understand.
Yeah, they're kind of the industry standard tools that a lot of data professionals use.
Okay.
They're like the heavy machinery of the data world.
Can you give me the explain it like 5 versions of what those tools do?
All right, so imagine that you need to sift through billions of website clicks
Yeah.
to find patterns, right?
Hmm.
Spark is like a superpowered sieve.
Okay.
It can process information that fast.
Wow.
And Hadoop is like a filing system that helps organize and store all that data.
Okay, so they all have their own like little special power or specialty.
Right.
Got it. So Dataproc takes all these powerful tools, makes them easy for someone like me to use,
Exactly.
who's not a data expert.
And that brings us to, I think, one of the best parts about Dataproc, cost effectiveness.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I like saving money.
Building your own data infrastructure can
Yeah.
be really expensive.
It sounds expensive.
But with Dataproc, you basically rent the resources from Google Cloud,
Mm-hmm.
and you only pay for what you use.
Okay.
In fact, you can lower your total cost of ownership by 54%
Wow, that's a lot.
compared to building your own data lakes.
Okay.
It's like the difference between owning a car
Hmm.
and using a ride-sharing service.
Right.
You just pay when you need it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of ride sharing, what about scalability?
Right.
Can Dataproc handle massive data sets?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's one of the big advantages.
Good.
You can analyze a massive data set for a short period.
Right.
No problem. Dataproc just scales up.
On demand and then scales down when you're done.
So it adapts to your needs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's cost effective, it's scalable. What about speed?
Well, actually,
Am I going to have to wait forever to get results?
no, it speeds things up.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it accelerates data processing and model building and training,
Hmm.
so you can get insights from your data much faster.
Okay. That's good because time is money.
Exactly.
So we've got cost effective, scalable, and fast.
Right.
But I got to ask about security.
Sure.
We hear about data breaches all the time these days.
Yeah, and you're right to bring that up.
Yeah.
Security is so important, and Dataproc delivers.
Okay.
It integrates with Google Cloud's security features.
Mm-hmm.
So think encryption access controls.
Yeah.
It even supports more advanced security measures like Kerberos and Apache Ranger.
Wow. Okay. So it's like Fort Knox for my data.
Pretty much.
Okay. So I'm feeling pretty good about this so far.
Good.
But I am curious about some of the specific features. Like we've talked about the overall benefits,
Right.
but what are some of the things that really make Dataproc stand out?
Well, let's start with serverless deployment.
Okay.
This is where Dataproc really shines because it's so simple.
Okay.
You don't have to set up or manage any servers for your data processing.
That's good because I don't know how to do that.
Exactly. You just submit your job and the servers just appear when you need them.
Oh, wow. So it's like magic.
Kinda, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it just happens automatically.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then another cool feature is containerization with Kubernetes.
Okay. Now, I've heard of Kubernetes, but can you explain it in a way that I can understand?
So think of it like this. You're organizing a huge event,
Okay.
with lots of different activities happening at the same time. You need to make sure everything runs smoothly,
Yeah.
that there's enough space for each activity,
Yeah.
and that they don't like interfere with each other.
Right.
Kubernetes is like a super organized event planner
Okay.
that helps you manage all of those different tasks.
So no data traffic jams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps everything nice and organized
Okay.
and isolated.
So we've got the serverless deployment, keeping things simple.
Mm-hmm.
We've got containerization, keeping everything organized.
Right.
Anything else in Dataproc's bag of tricks?
Well, one of the best things about it is how well it integrates with other Google Cloud services.
Okay.
Like, it's a whole network of data tools all working together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can connect it with things like BigQuery.
So it's all connected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seamlessly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You can even connect it with Vertex AI.
You're building machine learning models.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can do it all within this ecosystem.
It's like a one-stop shop.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm impressed.
Good.
But I am curious, how are companies actually using Dataproc
Yeah, that's a great question.
to solve real-world problems?
Yeah, we're going to dive into that next. But before we do that, are there any questions you have about what we've covered so far?
Actually, yeah, this all sounds really great, but is there a downside?
Well,
Like, there's a big learning curve to learn all this stuff.
you know, that's a common concern.
Yeah.
But one of the great things about Dataproc is that Google Cloud has made it really accessible
Okay.
for all sorts of users. They have tons of resources available, like tutorials and documentation
Right.
to help you learn it.
So it's not just for the elite few.
No, not at all.
Anyone can learn this.
Yeah, if you're interested in data, you can learn how to use Dataproc.
Cool. Okay, so are you ready to tell me about how companies are using this to solve real-world problems?
Oh, yeah, I am.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so let's jump into some real-world examples.
Okay.
One story that really impressed me was Broadcom. They're a global tech company, and they use Dataproc to modernize their data lake.
Okay, data lake, that sounds kind of intimidating.
So a data lake is basically like a massive reservoir
Okay.
that holds all sorts of data from different sources. So you could have sales figures, customer info, website activity, all in one place.
So it's just like raw, unprocessed data.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So Broadcom had this data lake, but their problem was that it was siloed.
Siloed.
Yeah, like all the data was scattered across different systems.
Yeah.
It was hard to access and analyze.
It's like having a library where all the books are just like thrown everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, there's valuable information in there.
Yeah.
But it's a nightmare trying to find it.
Okay, so how did Dataproc help them solve that problem?
Well, it allowed them to break down those silos,
Okay.
organize the data, and make it accessible.
So they went from a messy library to like a nice organized system.
Right, and that allowed them to get insights from their data that they couldn't before.
Okay, very cool.
Another company that's using Dataproc in a really interesting way is Wayfair.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they sell furniture and home goods online, and they're using Dataproc to leverage unstructured data.
Unstructured data.
Yeah, so think about things like product reviews, social media, posts, images, even audio recordings.
Okay, so stuff that's not in a spreadsheet.
Exactly.
All right.
It doesn't fit neatly into rows and columns.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to analyze with traditional tools.
Okay, I see the
Yeah.
challenge there.
Yeah.
It's like having a puzzle,
Right.
but all the pieces are jumbled up.
Exactly. And you don't have the picture on the box to guide you.
Right, okay.
But there's so much potential for insights in unstructured data.
Yeah.
So what Dataproc does is it gives you the tools to make sense of it.
Oh, cool.
So Wayfair's using it to analyze customer reviews and social media sentiment.
So they can like figure out what people are saying about their products.
Exactly.
That's clever.
Yeah.
It's like having a listening device
Right.
that can tell you what people are saying online.
Yeah. And it helps them improve their products and their customer experience.
Okay, so they're using Dataproc to get a better understanding of their customers.
Right.
Got it.
And then there are companies like Twitter and Vodafone who've actually migrated their entire data infrastructure to the cloud using Dataproc.
Their entire data infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's a big move.
It is a big move, but Dataproc made it a lot smoother than they expected.
Wow.
Twitter actually managed to cut their storage costs by 45%.
45%, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Okay, so it seems like Dataproc is having a real impact
Oh, definitely.
on
Yeah.
businesses of all sizes.
And it's constantly evolving.
Okay, well, what's new?
What's exciting in the world of Dataproc?
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest things is the general availability of serverless Spark.
Okay, Spark, the superpowered sieve.
Exactly.
The superhero of data processing.
Right. Well, now you can run Spark jobs without having to manage any servers at all.
Oh, wow. So it's serverless taken to a whole new level.
Pretty much. Yeah, Dataproc just takes care of everything.
So I don't have to be a server expert to use this.
No, not at all.
That's a relief.
It just makes things so much easier.
Okay, so that's a big update.
Yeah, and to make things even better, Google Cloud has released a new best practices guide for Dataproc.
Oh, like a cheat sheet?
Yeah, it's full of tips and tricks to help you optimize performance, security, and cost.
So they're giving you the tools and the knowledge to use them.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's all about democratizing access to big data,
Okay, I like that theme.
making it accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just about the tools themselves, but also about building a community.
A community.
Yeah, so Dataproc integrates with things like Jupyter Lab, which
Okay.
are these online platforms where data scientists can collaborate and share their work.
So it's like a virtual laboratory for data people.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, and Google Cloud has also created a dedicated online community just for Dataproc users.
So you can connect with other people who are using the same tools.
Exactly. Ask questions, share best practices,
Yeah.
and even contribute to the platform.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
It's like a built-in support system
Right.
for anyone who's using Dataproc.
It really speaks to the power of open source and collaboration.
Yeah.
When you bring people together and share knowledge, you can do some amazing things.
I'm really struck by how Dataproc is not just a tool,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a platform for collaboration.
Yeah,
It's like they created an entire ecosystem around big data.
you've got it.
Yeah.
And it's making it more accessible and engaging for everyone.
Okay, I'm loving this conversation so far.
Good.
But now I'm really curious to hear what you think about the future of Dataproc and the future of big data in general.
Yeah, well, that's what we'll explore next.
So we've talked about what Dataproc is, all the cool features,
Right.
how companies are using it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know what you think about the future.
Okay.
Where do you see Dataproc and big data going?
Well, I think we're at the beginning of a data revolution.
Yeah.
The amount of data out there is just exploding.
A lot of data.
It is. And we need tools like Dataproc to handle it all
Yeah.
and to make sense of it.
That's the key part, right?
Exactly.
It's not just about having the data, it's about understanding it.
Exactly.
What about real-time data?
Oh, yeah. That's becoming super important.
Like, businesses need to know what's happening right now,
Right.
not just yesterday.
Exactly. So think about a retailer who can change their prices
Okay.
based on what customers are doing in real time,
Wow.
or a healthcare provider making decisions based on the latest data.
That's powerful.
It is, and Dataproc is evolving to meet those needs.
With things like serverless Spark.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty exciting but challenging future
It is, yeah.
for people who work with data.
It's a fast-moving field, for sure,
Yeah.
but it's also incredibly rewarding.
In what way?
Well, data has the power to change the world.
Okay.
You know, we can solve big problems with data,
Like what kind of problems?
like climate change or developing new medical treatments.
So it's about using data for good.
Ex-
I like that.
Yeah,
It's really inspiring to think about the possibilities.
it is.
And it sounds like Dataproc is giving more people the tools to make a difference.
Exactly. It's about empowering people to use data
Yeah.
to make the world a better place.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I've learned a lot about Dataproc
Good.
and about the potential of big data.
Yeah, it's an exciting field.
It is, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Me too.
So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of big data.
Yes, thank you.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy data diving.